All set? 1 1 2 2. Greetings, everyone. That's right. Yeah, sure. Can everyone hear me? There's no PA, so it's just a case of shouting loudly. We're just refilling the drinks over here, so if you get thirsty, get up and grab a drink. We'll maybe have a short break in the middle. But anyway, welcome. February already, our second event for the year. The world's largest in-person Webflow community at this point. How about that? You know, 2 years, 20 plus events, close to 400 members on our meetup group. So, and it's all because of you guys, and great to see some regular faces as usual, but also a whole bunch of new people. So, yeah, really great to see. And that's the idea, that you don't have to feel like you have to come every month. You can drop in, drop out. You know, we're here last Wednesday of the month. So, what have we got in store for you tonight? 2 fantastic keynote presentations. Brandon, all the way from South Africa originally, but we'll hear more of his story soon. In fact, that's his presentation, his story, which is always good to hear, going from nothing to something. And then Alessia, one of our regulars from Code and Wander, giving us part 2 of a presentation about a year ago, just over a year, on a component library that you alone, or if you had more than you working on? The team, the Code and Wander. Excellent. So, yeah, that's going to be some fun. Now, I'm going to give everyone a chance shortly to make announcements, but just to prompt you, if there's something you want to announce, an event, you're looking for work, anything at all, then your chance will come up shortly. So, tonight's agenda, some announcements. Jimmy, my co-host, will be doing a showcase of some sites that you guys have submitted that we've been working on recently. Also a recap of some of the breakneck speed announcements that Webflow keep shipping to us, which is great fun. It's like Christmas. Open up Webflow. Here's a new toy to play with. And it is hard to keep up with some of these things. But Jimmy will do something there to update us. Right, and then we've got our presentations. Then we finish up at 8. Sometimes the music comes on at 8, which is like Mum might do to get people to leave. Actually, they'll probably do the opposite. They turn it off to get people to leave. But tonight the music's going off a little bit later. So if we overrun, it's not the end of the world. And then we've got the terrace area at the old fountain at the end of the road. Maybe reserved for us. They're going to try, but we'll head there anyway and have some evening beers on this balmy British spring evening. Right, next, sponsors, Beyond. They do go beyond. That's the workspace that we're in right now. It's a co-working space. They have permanent dedicated offices, but if you're a freelancer, you're stuck at home, you're going crazy, you just want a desk, for £99 a month for the first 3 months. You can come here 24/7, fast Wi-Fi, beer taps, barista on some occasions, Tuesday to Thursdays. It's fantastic. So if you're interested in that offer, let me know. I'm happy to introduce you. Webflow community platform. This is new. It's a reboot of some other things that Webflow have had in the past. We've got our own special space on there, the London Webflow Network group. So please scan the code, join the group, and show the rest of the world that we're the biggest and the best. At the moment, that space, that London space, is events that we're running. We had a breakfast that Jimmy organised. We might have a photo. I'm not sure if we included that, but yeah, we had a breakfast. And we do fun things, and not just this. So you can keep up to date there, as well as our meetup page, and we'll be sharing videos and photos and that on there. If you've got suggestions, you're thinking of doing something yourself or getting involved, that's a good location. But also, obviously, the community platform's got all the ask questions, forums and things for Webflow support. So check it out. We're on YouTube. Scan it, subscribe, like some videos. These presentations, as well as having the live broadcast. Hello, people out in the world on the live stream. Next week, I cut it into clips, and you'll see the individual presentations for posterity, and you can share that with your socials and generate some interest. Call for speakers. We're almost got a website of our own, WFLDN.webflow.io. At this stage, it is a form, an Airtable form, but it's going to grow. But yeah, please, if you want to join the legacy of amazing speakers, we've got Davor here who spoke at Christmas. You know, Dan's spoken a few times. We don't want the same speakers every time. Let's, rotate them a bit. Put your hand up, scan the code, fill in the form, show off something that you've been working on, a little project you've been building. Tell us your life story. We're open to anything. We're all going through different things at different times on our journey to build our businesses or work freelance or grow our agencies. And it's great to share these stories and support each other. Right. Does anyone have any announcements this evening they'd like to? Nothing upcoming? No. I've got a little announcement. Hang on, I'll come back to me. Here we go. There we go.
I am hiring for a German speaker in the support team at Webflow. So if you know anyone interested, let me know. Thanks so much.
Excellent. So this is KP from Webflow, the London office, everybody. So the plan is, as the London office is growing, to have a bit more involvement both ways.
It is a fully remote role, though.
That's a remote role.
Yeah, yes, mine's fully remote.
Yeah. Oh, yours is? Okay.
No, the role I'm hiring for.
Okay.
Yeah, no office.
No office. But you are normally in an office down the road?
The sales team are in an office, but I'm fully remote.
You're fully remote
as
well? Okay. Nice. So, I'm fully remote too at the moment. I'm a free agent, so last month I was working at a Design by Structure and in the office downstairs, and now I'm not. So that's my announcement. Details are on LinkedIn, and so I'm open to offers, so let me know. Hit me up. I'm pretty good. A few people can speak for that, maybe. Right, showcase time. Jimmy, over to you.
Let's go.
Right.
Hey guys.
This one.
Yeah, I can do it. You can hold on to that one. There we go. Cool. So, as you can see, we've got a massive list today to get through, so I don't know if we'll have time for all of it, but if anyone has also something that they want to spontaneously share with us, put your hand up, and if you know the URL, I'll get you up here as well. But this is all the submissions we got today. First of all, we'll start with Patrick. Do you want to jump up? Hopefully the stream doesn't go down. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. There we go.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'll just quickly pause it. Show of hands. Who here has used the new Webflow feature for code components? Okay, about 5% of the room. This is what I suspected, and I don't blame anyone else in the room. My impression of code components as a developer, they're extremely powerful for Webflow, and I feel like most Webflow designers haven't yet realized their potential. And it's not your fault. It's because the workflow to get them into Webflow is still a little bit sticky. So I'm here to announce that with my friend Ganna over there, we're building a tool to hopefully make it much easier for the Webflow community to work with code components. This is sort of what it looks like. So it's a Chrome extension. It embeds directly in the designer. You can browse libraries of React components, edit the properties, and preview them live within the designer. When you're happy, you can insert these components into your site. I'll quickly mention as well, some of the cool things that we're building with code components are full stack integrations. So we've got first-party integrations with Vercel and Supabase, which we're launching with. And soon we'll be able to import your own code components from GitHub. Once they're in your site, they behave as every other component, so I won't linger on this, but one of the cool things you can do is add a login to your site in about 10 seconds. So that's me creating a login for Webflow London. You can publish and customize components as you always do, and in about 10 seconds, I've built a fully functional login for a website, which is pretty cool. You couldn't do this before in Webflow. Now, all this to say that we're building this product for the community. It's a free product, but we're still finessing some of those details. We're starting with a private beta over the next couple of weeks. If any of you guys in the room are interested in playing around with code components or helping us navigate this space, you can scan that, which takes you to a little form, sign up with your name and email, and I would really appreciate some feedback. We'll be in touch in the next week or two. Thank you.
Nice. Well, that is very cool. I'm definitely going to try that out. And the next one is from me. So shameless plug. But this is, a site we've been building for Sidekick money. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. We've got some cool stuff like some parallax. I managed to get it inside this SVG, which I was very happy about. And that's going to be launching in the next couple of weeks or so. So once it's launched, I don't know, give it a like on LinkedIn or whatever. And that's that. Very brief today, but you guys need to submit more stuff. Come on. Next time we're going to get a timer out, and this list better be full. So do some cool stuff. Anyway, so my recap today, I didn't actually edit the slide before, so it's not going to be a winter recap. But the main thing I think we've had released in the past month or so is new AI stuff in Webflow. So mainly the AI website builder. And since it's such a relevant topic, what I thought I would do, instead of the usual recap type stuff, is I'll just do a very quick recap of all the ways that I know you can use AI in Webflow currently. And then you guys can contribute a bit at the end as well if I missed any. First one, the most relevant one, the one they released recently, is the AI site builder. So this starts off very similar to kind of Reloom, if you guys have used that before. I think there was no point of them really changing that format because it seems like the way to go. That Reloom have got it dialed in. So they do that, build sections first with descriptions, and then it will build out your site. And here's one I tried earlier. So I put in, because it's actually a client I might have coming up soon, like something to do with a vet clinic. So build me a vet clinic, that kind of stuff. And this is what it ended up with. The interesting thing that I thought was that all of these images seem to be AI generated or pulled from somewhere anyway. And I thought, and these images are everywhere across the site. So if they're generating images like this throughout the whole website, I can't imagine that's very efficient. But it's still pretty cool that it's there. It's nice, it works well. One other thing I noticed as well is you get this new little theme panel on the side, which I haven't seen before. Personally, I think with the way everything's going, I'm sure everyone here I'm going to hear about a bit later on, doing component first builds. This might be something nice to kind of expose to us anyway. If you can have control over some themes and maybe give some power to the editor mode or something like that, that might be quite cool. But that's just, something I noticed. I think it's safe to say at the minute, we're not all going to lose our jobs. But it's pretty cool, I guess. It's not massively mobile responsive as well. So I think we're safe for now, but pretty cool to try out. The next one, schema markup. I've used this a couple of times. I think I've heard from a few people as well. It can be a little bit buggy and maybe doesn't work perfectly, but still pretty nice to be able to generate this super quick from a page. Sample items. So you can generate sample items inside a CMS. They're a little bit more relevant. The copy, I guess, is a bit more bespoke and less generic. The images in here, though, are still kind of generic images. I'm sure you're as fed up of seeing those images as I am. I've seen them about 1 million times in the last couple of years. But yeah, this is pretty cool, but yeah, not the game changer in that sense. Next one, Claude MCP. We also had that this month. So it's moved from the slightly more developer-focused setup of like creating a JSON file and putting your key in and all that kind of stuff, to now an actual, they call them connectors inside of Claude. So if you've got the Claude desktop app, you can now go to settings, go to connectors, add the Webflow one, and you can just open it up like you would like Google Wharf or something like that. So that's nice. That's what we like to see. I mean, the whole reason Webflow became popular is because it's a visual development tool for HTML and CSS. So we're getting more visual with this. It's easier to connect. I think more people are going to use it. You can use it for like 2 ways, for like site data. So that's like your pages and everything like that, or your designer API as well. So if you open up the MCP connector Webflow app inside of the designer and have Claude going at the same time, you can actually edit elements on the page, get it to add elements to the page and create elements and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. It works pretty well. It can struggle with bulk actions, I find. So eventually it runs into a few errors and stuff like that. But for like acute things, really cool and nice for like site audits and stuff like that. Another cool way I like to use AI is with Cursor or VS Code with Copilot. So if you're writing a lot of JavaScript for a page or something like that, open up your editor of choice, which has AI in there. It's really easy, and I love the autocomplete things in code. You don't have to remember all the syntax and stuff like that. And then you can download an extension called I think it's called Go Live Server or something. And then you can like go live, copy the link you get from that, use it in a source tag inside of Webflow, and like kind of edit code and update it. But remember to copy and paste the code in when you send it to your client, because I've sent it a few times without doing that, and they're like, it doesn't work, and I'm like, yeah, it's local on my machine, cool. And then the other one, the one we saw last week, is called Code Components. So you can use Claude Code, give it the documents for the Webflow code components, and it should be able to create like nice interactive components that you can drag in as a component inside of Webflow, edit its properties and stuff like that. And that's a really neat way. I expect, and like Patrick showed us, maybe we'll get cool integrations in the future, better user journeys and stuff like that. And that could be a really powerful thing going forward. Has great potential, needs to be a bit more user friendly before a lot of people adopt it, but really cool potential. Nice. So that was all the ways I came up with, I know of currently, to use AI with Webflow. But I'm curious, has anyone else done any other sort of workflows or used anything else in a way with AI?
I mean, 2 super small ones are the alt text for images.
Oh, yeah. I missed that one out.
And the the meta description and title.
Okay. Are you doing them in bulk with like Claude or anything like that, or?
At the moment, no, but that could be a good one. Yeah.
Should be very,
At the moment, I just press the button that says generate.
And it does it there. All right, okay, cool. Easy way. Anyone else?
Yeah. Just a comment, really. I had a similar experience as yourself creating the AI website and seeing if my job was like, whatever. But one thing I was really impressed with was the design system that it created.
Yeah.
The actual site itself, it was a kind of a 60-40 kind of thing. But the actual design system I thought was absolutely spot on, bar a few naming conventions here and there, but generally it was, it was right there. So that's what I've been using. It's nice kind of to take that out and use it elsewhere, sort of thing. Yeah,
they use the Webflow specific one, right? Do you remember what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. Flow something. FlowKit. Yeah. So it's actually got a very nice style system in there, similar to like a client first one or something like that. And it's edited all those variables and stuff. So that is like pretty cool, and I can see that getting better in the future and being more useful. Anyone else got anything? One more. Patrick.
Shameless plug, but with code components, you can actually build AI applications natively in Webflow. So it's not a use case to build in Webflow, but you could build like chat applications or generative AI stuff. Really untapped potential. So I recommend you look into it. But yeah.
That's it. I mean, I'm sure we'll have more in the future, and we'll definitely keep you up to date whenever there is any more use cases, because it's obviously the way everything's heading. But yeah, that was a very brief overview of the ways you can use AI in Webflow currently. On to the presentations.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jimmy. So, I'll just do a quick intro for Brandon. If we skip on the next. Well, it's going to be quite quick. Brandon, if you want to come and get yourself plugged in. Brandon is with us from Croatia, originally from South Africa, starting with freelancing and then building Yes Chef Studio. So we're going to hear a story. Just while Brandon's getting set up, I've got a favour to ask. That Webflow's asked for some nice photos of me. Don't ask me, I don't know. But can you, and with community, so I figured if I can, I'm going to jump in here and get a little community shot. Hang on, if I come back this way. There we go. Something like that. But then I'm going to be like Nigel No Mates here. Actually, if I'm over with, yeah, there we go. Something like that. You might need to get that focusy button happening. There we go. How's that?
At least pretend you're like talking.
Is that my good?
Yes.
Yeah, we can get something over here as well. I'm too much of a clown for this. I need to.
It's hard to do candid when you're expecting.
Yeah. How's that? Excellent. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, I'm trapped. I'll come past here. No one liked the front row today, so all the good people sit at the front. I'll sit over here. Take it away, Brandon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. As Chris said, my name is Brandon. I have an agency called Yes Chef Studio, and yeah, I'll be telling you just a brutally honest story about the journey, how we got here, how we got where we are, and yeah, any advice I have for anyone thinking of doing the same thing, and you can decide if it's a good idea or not.
So, sorry to interrupt, Brandon. I forgot to mention, this is the first time Brandon has done a public presentation. So be kind, okay? Thank you.
Was the start that bad, Chris?
No, it's good. You did good.
We love you, brother. Yeah. Love you, man. Forewarning, this is completely just memes. All slides are memes. Bear with me. So when I approached Chris to speak at this, and we had a back and forth about what it would be about, we specialize in component-based builds. I found out Alessia was doing a component-based build. I did not want to be outshined on my first talk.
You can join me for the next talk.
Maybe. So Chris suggested maybe just speaking about my agency journey, and I thought, as much as I don't want to stand here for 20 minutes talking about myself, I don't want to be outshined, like I said, so I'll do that. So yeah, a bit about my background, how I got to where I am. I left school, I actually studied law and worked at a law firm while I studied. Very weird career change. About 3 or 4 years in, I decided law's not for me. I didn't want to spend my whole life doing that. So that was 2017 to 2022. So 2021, I decided I'm going to start learning Java because front end was not as badass as back end. So yeah. Then naturally, as I'm sure everyone in this room knows, once your friends hear you're doing computer stuff, they all need a website. So friend after friend, I built a website by piecing together code pens. And they were hideous. I was proud of them at the time. I look back now, completely cringe, but it got me to where I am now. So yeah. Then Q Webflow. So I was on YouTube probably looking for a tutorial on how to change a color in CodePen, and I found Webflow. Like I'm sure a lot of people in here did, speed ran Flux Academy because that's like the starting point. And yeah, started my freelance journey. From there, I met James, who I know a few of you know, James Batty, who I met in a get-rich-quick scheme community where the two of us had absolutely no marketable skills, no experience in the industry, and thought we'd be making 10K within 3 months. Spoiler alert, we didn't. But we did become freelancers, and yeah, we just stayed in touch for the next 2 years. We had full-time jobs on and off, we were freelancing on and off, we did a lot of projects together, and eventually decided to start an agency together because it felt like the natural next step. So James, in November 2023, went full-time at YesChef. I had a pretty chill job, and I kept it, which would essentially fund YesChef while he puts all his energy into it, and I put half my energy into it. Then 3-4 months later, February 2024, I got a call from my boss that we've lost our biggest client and I'm made redundant with immediate effect. So I just moved from South Africa to Croatia, blown all my savings on that, thought I had a cushy job, thought James and I were like set for the next few months, and then panic. So yeah, then we're at the crossroads. I called James straight off the call and I said, I just got laid off. What are we going to do? Do I get another job, or do we just essentially live off very little for the next few months and see where this goes? And luckily, being young and naive, we went all in, which I think if we knew what we were in for, we would have made a very different decision back then. Luckily, we didn't. So from there, James and I are like, next step, obvious step, we need leads, because that's how we're going to get profit. And so we're like, James is in rural France, I'm in Croatia, neither are tech hubs. So I'll pull up a Google tab and I'm like, biggest tech hubs in Europe. Naturally, London comes up first. It's like, my whole life, I've never been to London, but my whole life, everyone's complaining about the weather. I'm not going to London. Amsterdam second. So I'm like, nice. Amsterdam must have great weather. So I went there. And then, yeah, this is what some people might call rock bottom. James and I called it chapter 1 as a coping mechanism. So I spent the next 4 weeks in Amsterdam. We were not making a lot of money. I stayed in hostels, ate as little as possible to survive, spent my evenings reaching out to people on LinkedIn, just being like, hey, I'm in Amsterdam seeing a client. Absolute lie. Do you want to grab coffee while I'm here? More people responded than I thought. And so, yeah, I did a lot of coffees, probably spent more on coffee than I spent on food. And yeah, the true rock bottom was 4 weeks in, I ran out of money and had to ring James up and ask him for 50 quid to get a bus back to his house, which he was very kind and he didn't leave me in Amsterdam. And after 4 very long, brutal weeks in Amsterdam, we had absolutely nothing to show for it. So naturally, we were hopeless and depressed and at a loss for where we're going to go from here. And then suddenly, we just got a couple of small lucky breaks, one big one. We got a really big retainer client through Webflow Experts, who's still with us 2.5 years later. Naturally, we bigged ourselves up, fibbed a little bit, like we all do, to win our first clients, and they went with us. And they pretty much kept us going through the months where things got really tough. And then a few other small things like agency friends sending us work they didn't want to take on, and just a lot of small lucky breaks that I guess you create your own luck in a sense. So yeah, and then by some miracle, year 1 was profitable. And year 2, we 3x'd our year 1 revenue, and this year we're on track to double our year 2 revenue. So we have pretty steady, consistent growth, which is always good. Now, that's my story. Here's the 3 main lessons I've learned. I don't think it's anything glamorous. I think you probably already know these things. I was told these multiple times when I started, never listened. So here we go. First one, you'll never be ready, just start. And the lesson 1.1 is I truly believe there's no such thing as adults in this world. Meaning we are obviously adults by age, but I think when you're a kid, you look at your parents and your uncles and aunts and their friends, and you're like, wow, an adult, grown up, has a house, has everything together. And then you become one, and I think we can agree, not very true. Yet we still tend to look at people ahead of us in like career or any aspects of life, and you idolize them to an extent. But then when you actually meet them, that's where the saying, never meet your heroes comes from, because you realize they're just humans. They don't know what they're doing either. We're all just taking guesses here based on experience and hoping they work out. So yeah, everyone has different circumstances, but I truly believe if anyone can do something and it's been done before, you can do it too. Lesson 1.2 is how I think we made it through year 1 was just reducing the cost of mistakes. So the trick isn't to never make a mistake, that's impossible, but how many mistakes can you make at the lowest possible cost per mistake? So when mistakes are cheap, you can essentially speed run them, make more, learn faster, and learning makes you grow. So yeah, Chef started as 2 freelancers who had nothing but a few development skills and a dream. We took on many projects we didn't think we could take. We learned along the way, and somehow we made it through. Every project taught us something. Every mistake propelled us forward because we learned the lesson. And yeah, it's just how the game goes. Then last in this category is a friend once said this to me, and it always stuck. It was at the beginning of my career that the hardest part is getting to momentum. And the more I think about it, I think it's in 2 parts. One, it's hard because you don't actually know how long it's going to take. Like, are you going to get to momentum next week, next month, 6 months, 2 years? Like, it could take any amount of time. And why it's hard for the second reason is you don't actually know when you've hit momentum, because you get 1 project, then 2 projects, then maybe you're not at momentum, maybe it does, or maybe that is the momentum. And you only truly know when you look back that you're in that space. So I think the trick is how long can you live in that uncertainty of things not working, but you believe they are going to work. And the longer you can do that, the bigger the reward. Then lesson 2 is I think business is a game of whoever can do the boring thing for the longest without getting bored is going to win. And I learned this the hard way. All these lessons I learned the hard way. Like, there are no cheat codes. When James and I started, we're both developers. We kind of realized a few months in, we can't both be lead developers at the agency when there's only 2 employees. He's a much better developer than me. And by default, I became the business development guy, having never done business development before. So yeah, most of my time was spent searching for that magic formula that 1 week we would just unlock rapid agency growth. Did not find it, still looking. But no matter how many courses I bought, no matter how many mentors I paid, agency friends I spoke to that were doing way better than us, I just got the same boring advice over and over and over. And it's do outreach, put yourself out there, meet new people, try different approaches, see what works. It's all just experimenting. Despite hearing that more than 20 times, did not listen, continued searching. Fortunately, I've dropped that idea now, and those exact things I was told a year and a half to do are the things that are working and helping us grow today. So yeah, I truly believe business is just a game of whoever can stay in the states of boredom doing the same tasks every day will win eventually. So that's what I'm trying to do. And then second part of this lesson is, I don't know if anyone here has heard of the Steve Jobs connecting the dots concept. And if you haven't, in short, life's just full of these random sporadic events that happen, and they seem unimportant at the time and insignificant. But then a few months, a few years down the line, any big event that's happened in your life, you can literally trace it back and connect the dots, and you can find that exact small, seemingly insignificant action that triggered this whole chain of events that ended up where you are. So here, as this was last week, so this talk actually came at a perfect time. That over there is Clarissa, our project manager, obviously me. And this is one of the clients that we did a website for, and we were there for a client workshop. And said client was a result of someone I met in chapter 1 when I went to coffee. So yeah, the reason I bring this up is that seemed insignificant. Losing my job seemed like just a random event that I was angry about. Going to Amsterdam just seemed like this pointless Hail Mary that, you know, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? All these things happened, and I was a lot happier in Amsterdam this time. So it was great. Last lesson, people are everything. I know a lot of people see business as this cutthroat, zero-sum game, like everyone's competition, you shouldn't be friends. But I've taken a different approach, and I truly believe that most of the important people in my life are a result of starting Yes Chef and who I've met along the way. For example, this community, I think communities are super valuable. That's why I got in touch with Chris to speak. I want to kind of try give back, and even if one person leaves this event and they took even just one lesson from my talk and it helped, like, I would consider that a massive win. So yeah, I would encourage people to get involved, just help people. Like, if anyone wants to email me, jump on a call, I'll answer your questions if I can. So yeah, and to bring it all together, compounding to me is the most important concept in life. So if you can just start, take action every single day, you can consistently do the boring things. You put yourself out there, you meet new people, the amount of opportunities that will open up to you, like, you can't even fathom it. It's way more than you can imagine. So yeah, I know I've put you through many memes, so I'll finish with one. I don't know if I'm sure everyone saw this penguin on Instagram. If you didn't, the short story is a penguin will leave the colony if it feels like it doesn't fit in or it's not welcome anymore. Oh. Everyone on Instagram said they are the penguin. Most people are not the penguin. My challenge to you is not to be the ones in the crowd saying they're the penguin, but actually be that penguin. Take that risk you've been meaning to take, but you've been too scared, and see where you land up. You're not going to die. Nothing bad's going to happen. Maybe you lose some money. Who cares? Life goes on. Thank you.
Really good. Thank you so much. We've got some time, so are you happy to answer some questions?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, amazing. So I meant to mention this before. We've got a few little giveaways, some Webflow swag. So firstly, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
And I've got another one here that's going to go to whoever asks the best question. So I'm going to go first. I've already got one, so hopefully someone comes up with a better question. You mentioned about the retainer that got you out of trouble.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's working. After 2 years, you still got the same client. How did you formulate that retainer? Did you just pull numbers out of thin air, or someone advised you? Because it sounds like it's working. What's the story there?
Do you mean in the proposal phase?
Yeah.
Or we put together a pitch deck very similar to this. It ended with a meme that said thanks. with a T full stop Hanks and a photo of Tom Hanks. Would highly recommend that sales strategy.
Wow.
But other than that, we just gave a lot of social proof. The main issue they were having with their site was performance. So we did a full audit. We spent a ton of time doing it because we had a ton of time to do that. I don't think it'd work for a bigger agency to invest that much time. Or maybe it would, I don't know. Everyone can do what they think's right. But yeah, it was just really proving that we knew.
And the commercials of the retainer,
Yeah.
have they had to be adjusted over the 2 years? Or
Yeah.
you got it right first go?
It's pretty much just an hour. They give us tasks, we spend the hours,
Okay.
they pay us for the hours. And it's been working, so don't change a good thing.
Yeah, nice one. Okay, I like it. Questions? Is anyone curious about the name, maybe? Someone ask a question.
Yes, chef.
Why is it called Yes Chef?
Hey, that's a good question. Hannah.
So James loves cooking, and when James and I were two freelancers, and we'd ask each other for something like, can you do this on this project? We'd say, yes, chef. And then when we started, yes, chef, but we didn't have the name, we used to just call it the agency the whole time, which got extremely annoying. So James was like, hear me out. What if just for now, as a placeholder, and we definitely need to change this later down the line, we call it Yes Chef. And I was like, cool, it's fun. We will definitely change that, but let's do it for now. And a week passed, it stayed, a month passed, a year, 2.5 years, and it stayed. So yeah,
Yes, chef.
Yes Chef.
Any more questions? Yeah, Jimmy.
So are you and your team fully remote at the minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you have any like tips or learnings on like growing, keeping the team like interested when everyone's like fully remote, and how do you like manage that?
Yeah, that has been the biggest challenge so far. One thing's daily stand-ups we found are super important. We also do a Monday morning, we call it a town hall, where everyone meets together. We do a Friday show and tell where you just jump on, everyone shows cool stuff they've been working on that week. We do like, if someone requests it, we'll give them a co-working space just so they can go into an office, even though it's not with the team. They'll have that form of connection, and yeah, just a lot of syncing, honestly. Which that was a mistake we made when we started, is we try to be fully autonomous, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, we lean more towards more calls rather than less.
Nice one. Oh, I know we've got a couple more. I was going to say, if there's no more questions, that will give us time to have a quick break to grab a drink. But maybe we can do both.
Yeah, firstly, thank you very much. Super interesting story. I think, when you said about you were asking for 50 quid for the bus, and it was all very unplanned, but you've ended up being successful. How has that now changed into a successful agency? Like, how much do you plan versus how much is still kind of consequential on your previous action?
Well, I've never had to ask James for 50 quid again, which is a good start. Got a lot better. That was like a couple of months into the agency, had no idea what we're doing. I've gotten a lot better at finances. We use actual accounting software now where we can like project our runway, how much projects we have like secured, what's in the pipeline. So yeah, we try to have a healthy runway and just, kind of stay on top of things so we can catch buses whenever we want without relying on a friend.
Yeah, good question. I think one last one, Davil? Yep, there we go.
I mean, it's actually two. But like, why building an agency? Why did you decide not to stay freelance or find another job at a time?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think we just ego. We just wanted to build something cool, something that we're proud of, and just grow something. There's no. I think also like with freelance, it's easier to make money initially, but you inevitably hit a roof. Like there's only so many hours you can work. There's only so much you can raise your rates until people are like, that's just ridiculous. So eventually you do hit a roof. With like an agency, you just hire another person and another person and another person. So it's really just trying to overcome that and rather like going through that beginning struggle with infinite upside versus like easily making money at the beginning, but then you kind of hit that roof later down the line. So yeah.
So, what is the thing that mainly motivates you to do this now?
This sounds cheesy, but it's genuinely not money. Like we need money as a company. Any company needs money. We need to be profitable. But like I said, people have honestly been the best part of this journey. Like I've made so many friends, like whether it's just freelancers or agency owners or even the people at Webflow, like that everyone's just been great. Like I think people are way more helpful than you imagine. And like if you just make the effort and you be a good person and you're just helpful, people just like you and you just kind of live like a fulfilling life in that sense. Again, I know it sounds cheesy, but that's genuinely why I would never want like a job where I never meet anyone, because it's just I was talking mainly about Ben.
So you would do it again like that?
Probably. Probably if I didn't know what I was in for.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Brandon. Do you want to choose the winner for the question?
The Vol's last question, his first question was good. Got me thinking.
Well, yeah, I've got. The first question was me. I've already got one of these.
The Vol's first question.
Oh, yeah, well, have you got one of these? I don't. You don't? Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Excellent. Look, we need to thank you very much.
Thank you.
We can just pause for just 2-3 minutes tops. We'll start Alessia at 1:30. So 2-3 minutes. So if you want to grab a drink, grab one now or visit the bathroom. There's some more drinks. You want to sit up? Okay, everybody, attention. Part 1 done. Part 2 is going to be pretty epic. More demo, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
We've got Alessia, needs no introduction, but co-founder of Code and Wonder and enterprise partner, Webflow partner, something. Yeah, getting there. And let's just take it away. Go for it, Alessia. Thank you.
I was going to say we always have to have at least one demo, right, at the Webflow meetup. So sorry, Brandon, for stealing the talk about components. So today, we're going to talk about component-first builds. And what those are, this is a bit big. What those are basically where your navigator, it's all green. So the page is completely composed of components. And there's lots of different ways of doing this. And just to cover some basics, there's mainly 2 types of component builds that you can lean towards. The first one is what is often referred to as open components. And this is components that may be elements, it could be layouts, but majority of them have a slot inside of it. So you're nesting components one inside the other. Think of it as a Russian doll, and you kind of like wrap each one of them in a new component. And what that might look like is something like this, where in this case, I have a section, and inside of a section, I have a container, then a row, the content, and then the elements inside of it. And you see how everything kind of slots together. The other option is what is often referred to as closed components. So these are more contained. They sometimes have slots, but more often they have lots of props and variants that you can switch between. And it might be a little bit more client-friendly because you don't have as many nested options in there. Pros and cons to both. And I'm going to do the cliche, raise your hand. If you currently build with component-first systems. We got a few. And keep your hand up if you do the open component way. Okay, so majority that put their hands up actually stayed with open components, which is interesting because I've heard so many different opinions on these. And they both have kind of pros and cons for each one of them. And one thing I want to cover is like, which one do you pick? Do you go fully open components or do you go closed components? And a little bit of insight of how we do it at Code and Wonder is we don't necessarily pick. We work with the client to understand how best we can support them in order for the marketing team or content team or whoever on the client side is managing the site to best support them so that they can own the site. So we look at the design complexity. Do they have lots of repeatable sections? In that case, maybe a closed component build might be best. Or do they have lots of flexibility that they need, and therefore, dragging and dropping lots of components together might be a better fit for the project. But most of all, we look at the marketing or content team skill set. Are they able to work with the system? Are they, do they want the flexibility of open components, and do they understand the system well enough in order to work with it? And sometimes it's yes, sometimes they say, no, we'd rather have less flexibility, but an easier system that we can drag and drop the various sections inside of it. So it's not necessarily kind of black or white. You can only do closed or you can only do open, but also you want to avoid the 50 shades of variance for one component where then it's just paralysis of which one to pick and which one to choose and how is one different from the other. So what we did internally at Code and Wonder, we created a component-first library called Blocks. And Chris, we did a talk over a year ago about this, and it was an early iteration of this before component variants even existed. So it has changed quite a lot, and we continue to iterate because Webflow ships so fast that it's hard to keep track of things, and we try and update it as soon as new releases come out. But the problem that we wanted to solve with blocks is to have a flexible system that can adapt to any designs, that has built-in consistency so that the client can easily, even if it's open components, drag things in and it will still be on brand. It will still have the correct spacing and the correct colors and everything that forms a design system itself. That follows best practices, so the client doesn't have to think of area labels and SEO and technical support. Everything is built into the components, so they don't have to worry about that. And most important of all is empowering their team so that the marketing team and the client can really own the site. And then our job is to support them with components and new functionality that they need. So I'm gonna show you how blocks is built. And the first thing I mentioned is kind of the flexibility. So what we build inside of, can you see, or should I zoom in? It's better? So we built in variables, collections inside of it, so you can quickly find where everything sits. But you might be familiar with kind of the primitives. So these are the very basics of what your font is, what your colors are, and kind of the font weights that are set for every single project. But one thing that we wanted to add is the flexibility of designs. So a lot of you, especially if you're on the design side, you might be familiar with the 12-column grid that a lot of designs are based on. But in all the many sites that we worked on, it doesn't always follow the 12 columns. You might have 10, you might have 24. So we built in a system in here that you can change the column count to whatever the design that you're building follows. You can set the maximum width of your container if it has one. You can pick the padding kind of left or right of the content that sits on every page. And this powers what we can hopefully turn on here, these guides. I wish I had a bigger laptop because, wait, let me do. Zooming in and then zooming out, I don't know if it's gonna work, but hopefully you'll be able to see all the different columns in here of your kind of design grid. And if I go to, you kind of see it. And if you go to here and you say, actually, I want to change this to, I don't know, 15, for example. And you go back to the page. If you can count really quickly, you'll see that there's now 15 columns in there, and everything still sticks to a set column that you can define still in the column sizes here. But that's the flexibility that we wanted to introduce, is being able to adapt to lots of different designs. You have your column sizes here, so everything is calculated for you. If you have 15, for example, you just add a few more variables in here so that it goes. You have the flexibility of spanning through all of the 15 columns. Just for the purpose of this, let's go back to 12. You then have the different themes. So you might have a base mode and an invert mode, so you can switch between the two. You have your typography settings. So what we do in all of our builds, I don't know if any of you is familiar with fluid typography, which means that if you resize the screen the typography kind of changes with it, so you don't end up with these awkward sizes of like a small desktop and the typography is huge. And all of that is automatically calculated. All you have to do is set a minimum size in rems and a maximum size in rems, and you're done. This, I don't know if you ever have to set up all of this from scratch, is pretty tedious. So for all of the new builds, this is our boilerplate that we start with, and then we just tweak the amount of headings that we need and add some additional ones if needed. But all of this is meant to be a boilerplate that you customize to your needs. So if you have to remove or add things, it's all kind of there. And lastly, for these variables, or kind of like the setting part, is the spacing. So again, you can add and remove spacing. All of these also use fluid sizing as well. And then once you set all of these up, you can start building, basically. So we have sections, and inside of a section goes a container, and then inside of a container, it goes your content. And I guess the way that we build it, I don't know if any of you is familiar with Mast or Loomis. I mean, Mast is probably the most similar to this, where it uses rows and columns. What I wanted to do is kind of move away from that rule that everything has to be inside of a row and everything has to be inside of a column and so forth. Because what if you have something super simple like a container, and then you have this kind of the grid with an image and text? Why can I not just add a grid, image and text? Why do I have to add columns and so forth? So it's all based on what you need rather than what you have to add in there. And what I call rows basically aligns content horizontally. So in this case, I have a row because I want to align it to the center. And then I have content which aligns the elements vertically. So you have a few variations if you want to align them to top, middle, center, and kind of all the 9-point grid. What the content also does is it has a column span. So you can have it larger and it spans through the columns, or you can have it smaller so that, yeah, more restrained in there. And you basically just build with those, and you can achieve most layouts that you can see here, or even slightly more complex ones. Everything which is inside of those layouts, I call elements, or maybe atoms, if you're familiar with the atomic system. And it depends on the client and the design specifically. So we have a few which come with the boilerplate because they're everywhere in every single site. So buttons, links, headings, paragraphs, rich text. We have like a breadcrumb one, some like feature, which is a combination of the icon and the rich text. But everything is kind of here, ready for you to build the new components that that are specific to your site. So these are all open components, right? You're nesting things inside of each other. There's a few pages of the design system where you can kind of document all the layouts. So you have all the different components with the variations of what you can have. So you have your grid, which could have like 2, 3, 4 columns, and you can add to those variants however many you need. You have, rows with all of the different alignments that you can have, and the content with all the different width span that you can have as well. All of this is available as a clonable, so I suggest you could go download it, and I would love your feedback as well in things with that maybe you think are missing or things that you feel like could be improved. always open to hear your thoughts. And you can, just go through all of the different components on these pages as well. One of the things that, I guess, bringing it back to open and close, can we have a mix? What I often do, especially if I have a client which is less technical or wants a simplified version of it, I would suggest to build component first, so open components, so it's easy for you, it's easy for the developers, and it's easy for maybe the more technical people on the team to build this way, and then simply go to a specific section, and 1 second, I need to move it down here, and then you can wrap it into a div, and then you can create that as a component, and you can, here it's suggesting 78 properties. That's a bit too much, but you can pick the ones that you want to actually surface for the client. So you might say, you know what, I just want the heading and paragraph to be editable and nothing else. But at least, you have all of these different variations that you, as a more technical person or a developer, can go in and change that component fairly quickly.
Sorry to interrupt, Alessia.
Yes.
Just quick, the suggestions here, are they based upon props that are already created on the open components, or
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I believe it's a mix of props already created in the open components and potential of things that the AI. Oh, you should add that to the. Where's Jimmy? Add that to the AI list.
Okay.
Things that should be a property as well.
Because it's starting to suggest new properties when you're creating components now.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think one big shift from my presentation over a year ago on this is previously we at the team, or I specifically, relied a lot on classes. So you often have a component, and I still have it here on the advanced section. You can still add a custom class and then refer that in custom code if you want to. But the whole idea of blocks is that you never need classes. It's all variance-based and components-based, because I feel like the friction that I found for a client in using any system at all is if they have to memorize classes. They will never do that. No matter how many cheat sheets you build, no matter how time you repeat it to them, it will never happen. So removing that friction and removing that memorization of classes, and just have it as a drop down of okay, how do you want to align this text? That I feel is the big step between the very first version and this version.
And I guess too, it means that they can stay in build mode if they're not dealing with any classes. If everything is a variant or an option or a prop, then build mode is a nice safe place for them.
Yes, so you can build this whole page with all in build mode. And because everything is inside of the page slot that we still need, anyone with a limited seat, so build mode or marketeers or however you name all the roles, they can still use that and build pages, build new pages out of the templates. One last thing, maybe, if you do go down the route of open components, what I suggest is creating, I have two here of basic layouts, but these will then be customized to the client specifically. If you pre-build all of those sections with open components, they can simply copy and paste it in different pages. So they have all the variations here that they can simply grab and paste it somewhere else.
And I guess too, Alessia, if you're going down that path of using this to set up a bunch of closed components for the client to use build mode, the component library is going to be full of all sorts of things, but then you have a nice tidy system there, I guess, with folders and things.
Yes, good shout. Yes, so everything is grouped by elements, layouts, styling, collections.
How do you stop the client from going into those and sticking to the ones that you've prepared for them?
So I would name them with a prefix.
Yeah.
So we'll brainstorm that with the client to make it as easy as possible for them. If they come up with the name, they'll remember.
Put a 0 in
hopefully.
front of it so it's at the top.
So it could be, yes, and it could be, well, what I always suggest to them is to use Command K to search.
Oh.
So if you then prefix them all with build, for example, and you start typing build, and then you have the list of components that they can pick from.
Nice.
Build is quite long, so picking a shorter one, and it's usually defined with the client so that they're familiar with the naming as well. So the whole component library is more of a collaborative approach, because from the beginning, we decide with them how they want these components to be set up, and then how can they use them easily with the naming convention as well. But that doesn't stop us from using open components to make our life easier, and then our clients as well. I think that's pretty much it for, oh, we got a question.
Yeah, amazing. This is so cool. Hang on, microphone. I'll come round.
How much more efficient has this made you and your team?
Sorry?
How much more efficient has this system made you and your team?
A lot more, because everything stays consistent, first of all. And I think for our team specifically, the biggest time sink in building these is the setup. So, creating all of these variables for all the spacing, all the typography, the theming, and so forth, I feel like that is what takes the most amount of time. So having a boilerplate that has all of those set up and you're just deleting or just adding a few saves a ton of time. But component first builds are not necessarily easier. I would argue that they're harder than non-component first builds, because there's a lot more thought that goes into how things are set up, because the whole aim is to make it easier for clients. So I find open components helps me and the team speed up the build, but there's more time dedicated to the setup rather than just starting to build. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
And then I guess the goal is to make everything on the left side green. So then if you do a bespoke element, then you would componentize it and then fit it into the page log, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the aim. It's not always possible. I think it's getting
multi-reference, as we learned.
Yeah, multi-reference is still an issue. So if you have a collection and inside of it you're referencing another collection and you want to display those items, it cannot be inside of a component, so you have to unlink them. So that's still a sticky point. Yeah. But now with conditional visibility is getting easier and easier, because now you can set conditional visibility within components, which means that you can use it within CMS collection as well. You can add filtering for properties, so your collection, you can have like one collection for your team section, and then filter those by, I don't know, if you have a developer sections and a designer section and so forth, you can have the same component with different filters. So it's getting easier and easier to build purely component first. Still a few quirks that needs to be looked at by Webflow.
Alessia, the boilerplate, I guess it doesn't come with any, or doesn't need any collections. It's basically what you've shown us.
I think it has, it has two. It has blog categories and blogs, just for me testing
Okay.
most of the time.
Yeah.
But these can be removed fairly easily. And I mean, blogs, most sites have blogs as well. So there's these two that comes with a collection.
More questions, Neville?
So, how has this changed? Sorry. How has this changed how you work in Figma, and do you combine it based on this new framework?
Yes. So in Figma, we're much more aware of, spacing and not necessarily componentize everything, because could also be a waste of time because you're not necessarily copy and pasting the components over, but just being mindful of reusing certain elements. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be restrained as a designer. A lot of the time we start not thinking of components and just design, and you do like a few variation of the homepage until you find, what works and what the client likes, and kind of agree on a direction that you want to go. And then at that point, we look at, okay, what has been approved and how can we adapt this and create all of the other pages easily with reusing certain aspect of the components. This doesn't mean that it has to be super boring and reusing the sections over and over again. But a client of ours actually put it really, really nicely. And he thinks of the design system as a sandbox. And the system, so all the variables and the components are the edges of the sandbox, keeping the sand in. And then the marketeers and the people using the system are the kids playing with the sand. And I quite like that. Well, that's the thing. You cannot throw sand outside of the box. So you're free to try whatever you want because the components keep you on brand and on track.
Right, so you're saying that the creative process, you still design the sites without this in mind, and then later on you adapt with that. That makes sense.
Yes, because we don't want to be restricted to squares, right?
Guys, we're coming up to time. Is there any last questions? The one down the front. And Alessia, think about the who's going to get the prize for the best question.
Ooh, I haven't been. Yes.
My question.
It was just a quick question. It sounds like the whole process, the build process, is quite collaborative with the client, but I just wondered how much time you have to put aside at the end of the project before launch to work with the client to get them up to speed with using the system.
We always do a training session, but say training session rarely passes the 2 hours.
Right.
So it's like a dedicated 2 hours with the client outlining how everything has been set up. And because we do create those templates and we create those, already put together sections, I find the client is very happy to copy and paste those, delete or add components to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Very impressive stuff.
We've been using the system on quite a few clients already, and we got really good feedback for it. And you can find more about blocks at codeandwonder.com/blocks, and you'll find the clonable there as well. So feel free to clone, message me. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, if you just search for my name, and just let us know what you think.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Just quickly, do you want to nominate someone?
Best question.
It's pretty tough. It could just go to someone that hasn't already got one of these, because I've already given out a
Put your
few.
hand up if you haven't got a bucket hat.
There we go. Oh yeah, that was a good question. Excellent. Hang on, there we go. Whoops, there we go. Good catch.
Nice catch.
So we're going to do a little quick pack up here. We don't need all 30, 40 of you to help pack up. So if somebody wants to volunteer to take Ben's going to take some of you to the pub. we'll see you there. Oh, before I finish up, guys, can I plug in here just quickly? You should do that one. Yeah, so our next meetup, I should have a slide saying when the date is, but I don't have it off the top of my head, but it should be the last Wednesday of next month. And for now, we're still here, but we may end up in another home later in the year. But let's see what happens. And what else is there? Yeah, join our WhatsApp. So we're just bringing it up here, possibly. There we go. There we go. Yeah, scan. Oh, that's gone. I think we're up to 60 or 70 on the WhatsApp. But yeah, that's a nice way to ask questions if you're stuck on a problem. Everyone's super helpful. You might want, at this point, you might want to put it on mute and then just check it every so often. Maybe that's what I do. But yeah, thank you very much for coming, guys. Great to see you all, and yeah, see you next month. See you at the pub. Yeah. I think it's nice and clear. And, yeah, I think.